tour kicking off. We've got about 10 or 15 minutes left. Oh, I love it. Right, we're at the mark. I'm going to do the introduction to the video now. As you can see, it's rough as hell, so the audio in this video is going to be poor, so you're going to get a lot of voiceover footage so I can explain what's going on, because it's blowing a bloody hurricane out there.
It's doing pretty well, isn't it?
I've got
strong southwesterly, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got Michael Tasker here with me today from That's a Bite Fishing on YouTube. Link up there now. He's back on the go now. He's had a bit of time out for some reasons, but he's back with us. And it's rough. It's 2 hours before low tide now. It's a low tide water. This is where we film Monsters in the Menai, so the big girls are here. We've got about 4 hours fishing, 2 hours down, 2 hours up. It's 7:30 now. Low is at 9:30. We're going to fish till 11:30. So just as the light switches off to dark, that will be low water. Right, I've messed this up, but we're going to roll and do it in one clip anyway.
It's got to be done.
It's got to be done.
Show you how it is.
This is how it is, yeah.
Show you how it
so
is.
low water's just as it's got dark, and then we're going to fish the last 2 hours up in the dark. Yeah.
Give it a good go, innit? Give it a good go.
I'll see you all when we get to the mark. Well, first thing we noticed is there was a sailing boat race on right across our swims. You having fun there, Mike? Yeah? The kit I'll be using today is 2 Pen Prevail 15-foot surf rods, kitted out with 2 Shimano Beastmaster reels. So here's the business end. Anybody who knows me will know I love to use the running rig. Simple 6-ounce gripper leads on a runner bead with a 60-pound rig material. This one has got a single hook on with a peeler crab, and this one has got a double hook on for the bigger fish baits. This is exactly the rig I caught that double figure bass from last week. Exactly the same lead, leader, hook and setup. So it was time to send these baits out and see if we could get lucky. The right rod was the crab bait, and the left rod, which I'm casting in now, was the big mackerel bait. Fingers crossed. So we've been fishing for about 40-45 minutes now. We've not even a single tap on any of our rods. I'll put this down to the sailboats constantly going through our swim. Right, the boats have gone now. They're all packed up, I believe, because I've took the buoys and the markers in. So I'm going to check my rods. I've been in about 40 minutes. I haven't bothered checking because the boats have been in and out. So got bait one in, which was the peeler crab, and yeah, something had been smashing it. I'm guessing crabs. So if the crabs had had the crab bait, I could only think what the fish bait would look like. And yep, it had been smashed. So we was about 2 hours in now, was pretty much at low water, and had the first bit of action on the right rod. But I struck into nothing, and after pulling it in, there was literally no bait left on the hook. I don't know what could have happened. Maybe the crabs could have smashed it and the fish picked up a little bit of bait, or maybe it was little fish having it, or maybe a fish did pick it up, but the end result was no fish. Now watch closely here. You can see me hook myself in the back with a big massive barb duck and a stinking mackerel bait. So we're around 2.5 hours in now with just the tiniest little tap on my right rod. I've hooked myself in the back. We've had boats in the swim and the wind is horrendous. Little did we know that this would turn out to be an awesome session with plenty of fish landed within the last half hour. To give a little indication on how bad the wind was, keep your eye on this piece of kelp. The water's starting to flood back in now. We've got about an hour and a half of fishing. Fingers crossed. So around 3 hours in now with just the slightest tap on my right rod, which might not have even been a fish. So for a bit of fun, I ripped blank back up the beach and the K on the end of blank was where we started. That was when we had to leave before the tide cut us off. So it was a race against the clock now to catch a fish before the tide covered the words blank, and we was hoping it didn't happen. So we've got blank wrote up the beach. The K at the end is where we started. When we get to the K, we've got to go before the tide cuts us off. So hopefully we have a fish before we get to the K. But if we don't, K also stands for kebab. So we're going to have a kebab if we get to the K without catching a fish. Really hoping for a fish though. We've not got long left now. It's the final hour. I think Mike might be into something actually. I just got to shout. Leave the camera on him for a little bit. I've just got the a drop back and a pull.
And again, that's an awfully doggy, that is. Awfully doggy.
Any fish will do, mate. Any fish will do.
Don't know if it's just playing with the baits at the moment. Definitely interest there. One more indication, Alan. Definitely something there. No.
Wah, wah. Fish on, yeah? A doggy will do, mate.
Either a doggy or a big ball of crab. I'm hoping for a doggy.
Anything will do.
Not that. That's what that is though, look. If you come here now, I'll show you.
What's happening here, mate? What's happening?
I reckon what I'm getting there with the drop box and the little bites, I reckon I'm getting absolutely smashed by a big ball of crabs. And I think what's happening as the tide's pulling along, it's just bouncing the crabs over. But yeah, you can see that. So it's getting little tiny drop backs like that on the tip sort of thing, and yeah, big ball of crabs. Like I thought it would have been a little doggy then, but yeah.
Uh-oh.
Crabs are in town, so just fish through them, I think.
Just fish through them. Just fish through them. That's wise words. Just fish through them. Right, the tide's coming in a little bit slower than I thought. Because as you can see, the letter B for blank is there, and you got L-A-N-K. So we've got time. But my rods ain't done nothing for the last 45 minutes now. So I'm going to have a regroup and a recheck of bait. It's hard going. It's hard. But effort equals reward, and we will crack on and we will fish till we can't fish no more. After Mike just getting smashed by the crabs, I've been done too. No! Crabbed out on the bait and weed on the lead. So we've got crabs and weed and time and tide against us. I just said to Mike, it's going to come down to effort now, so I'm going to do less talking to the camera. I'll leave it rolling and fish, because you know it's going to take a lot of recasting, rebaiting and just putting the effort in for the last hour now to try and get that one bite. Like many things in life, it can seem that everything's against you and everything's going bad. But like this video proves, just keep positive, keep focusing and give 100%, and there's always brighter times to come. Come on now, we're having this. Pretty certain there's crabs on my bait. See the rod tip, very slightly twitching. Telltale sign that crabs are messing with the bait. So I think I'll be checking every 10 to 15 minutes now. I'll be checking the baits and checking for crabs. Come on. Oh. We had a twitch then, a joint. I wouldn't say a good bite, but it was a bite. Well, that's the first bite I've had in the last hour. Yeah, that's all I've had in the last hour, that ding.
but it's a sign, and you've got to be positive.
The crabs was becoming a nightmare now and totally smashing the back end out of our baits before we could do anything. So it was a rechange every 10 minutes. Just keep casting out, rechanging, reeling in, casting out, rechanging. And you can see how quickly it starts to get dark now. It really did. Within minutes, it just seemed to go dark. And everybody knows when it gets dark on the Menai, the fish come out to play. Right then, I'm doing something different with this bait because not a lot is happening. I've put a squid on the back of the mackerel because the bites I had earlier was on squid. There's that extra bit of flavour. And I'm going to walk about 50 yards down the beach, around about somewhere down there. I'm going to launch it out there and walk it back. There'll be about 150 metres of line out. That's what I'm going to do. And it's just going to be a wild card with a different bait, well out the way from where I've been fishing. And hopefully something different will something will happen. Do different things to get different results, because not much is happening at the moment. But this is a proper big squid and mackerel bait. Let's get this out.
I would so love that rod to go. Literally walked about 50 metres down, waded out about 20 metres, and just sent it probably about 80 metres out, so it's in the middle of the channel that way somewhere. Wouldn't it be ice if that ripped off? Probably about 150 metres of line out. Yeah, that would be cool if that ripped off. You got to do different things for different results. Probably won't work. Worth a try, yeah. Just getting weeded out and crabbed out. Fish on, I think. Hard work does pay off. Right, I'm going to put up this quick. Little bully, not a big one. Yes, 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 done it, done it. See if you can see him all right. Look at him. Little belly on him though, podgy little bugger. Yes, effort really does equal reward. Absolutely buzzing with that. Get in then. Let's get him back. He's a fat little one, mate. Getting to the end of summer, innit? The big us will be massive now. Go on, dude. Go on, my mate. He's a right wide little one, you know. He's been eating all the pine. Go on, dude. Right, I think Mike's in. I think he's into something. He said he was. That's a little us, mate. Right, hold him up quick so I'm going to have to move. I'll have a quick look.
Little horse you can see on his.
Yeah, quick, because I've got to move.
Mate, you're all right.
Let's have a look at him. Hold him up.
Swallowed me, he has. Right down.
Hold him up a bit higher.
Swallowed me, he has.
Right, got to go.
Baby us, this year's us.
It's happening now, mate. It's happening. There's big fish jumping as well. We keep hearing stuff splashing just in the shallows. We've got about 20 minutes of fishing left. Come on, let's have it. Right, I've just lost the fish there. There is weed on the lead, but there was definitely a fish on. It's all kicking off. We've got about 10 or 15 minutes left. Oh, I love it. Right, I can't see nothing because the torch of the camera. It's all kicking off. Mike's got the fish on. I've just lost one. The water line is there. As soon as it hits the tripod, we got to go. I can hear Mike arguing to himself with a fish down there. I can hear it splashing and he's saying it's only there, but I think it snagged him. It's like the fish have just moved in. It's about an hour and a half after low water. Started flooding up fast now, and it's just kicked off. I just wish we could have another hour or two fishing. Right, he's got the fish. He's just waded out to the kelp bed to get it.
Didn't want to snag up with that fish then, yeah?
Yeah, I'm on a bite on the left rod now as well. What is it? Well, that's a bite. Can you bring him here so I can have a look, mate, do you think? Fish Fish on. Fish on.
Wind back now then, aren't they? Just show you this now.
You stand about.
Obviously we'll keep John in the shot here. In fact, I'll go this side. John's in now. I had quite a to do then. This fish had
This feels bigger.
on the way in, pulling me in the kelp it was. So I just had to wade in, just make sure that it was 3. Otherwise, if I'd have snapped off, he would have been on. So yeah, just waded in, got him out with a little pup. But we've got a good one for John. I'll go and help him now.
He might have just dropped. What is it? Another little huss. Another little huss again. Buzzing at the word. I'm going to get that rod straight back in because maybe, just maybe, there could be another. Hussy. Little pot bellied huss. See this little belly on him, look. Right, let's get him back quickly. We're having a nightmare because where we're fishing about 70 yards out, but about 30 yards out, there's a big kelp bed. And every time we hit a fish, we're having to pull it through the weeds, so we think we're losing them. Some are getting snagged and they're feeling heavier than they are. But we've had 2 huss each now. And there's a big fish just jumped in the margin again then. Don't know, probably sea trout or something, I don't know. But I was just saying to Mike, even though the huss we've had a little, they've got proper little pot bellies on them. They're fat little huss. So if we can get into one of the, the 3-4 foot long huss, it just makes you wonder how big they would be. For catching these little fat huss that I have been catching, I would definitely be back here over the next few weeks a few times to try and get one of the bigger ones, because I reckon they could be at a cracking weight, which is what normally happens towards the back end of summer. Before they move out, they're quite fat. So yeah, the water's coming in fast now. The K is literally by the rods. It's definitely not a blank. We've had a couple of us each. Let's see what happens in the next 10 minutes, yeah? I could have one on here. Fish on, I think. Oh, I'm in that kelp. I had one on.
Yeah, you have to walk up the current, yeah.
No.
Walk into the side, mate.
That could be a snap, that could. No.
That's what I had before, yeah. I had to walk into it, different angles, mate.
Well, it's not snapped, but I know that fish ain't going to be on. Just lost one then. Took me in that kelp. Nightmare. Got one cast left. This big bad boy's going out. 5 minutes tops, then we're off. Mike's there with a red light, and this one's going in now. This will be the last cast of the night. What is it? Mike's got another huss. I don't know if you can see him down there. You got it?
Yeah.
Mike's out in the middle of the Menai. He had one in the snag. I've just dropped one in the snag. We really got to go now though. We've really got to go. Love to stay for another hour, but we probably would be alright, but we're not risking it. Yes, mate.
So like we were saying before, if he doesn't get me, like we were saying before with that kelp bed, I got snagged then. So what I did is I walked a bit downstream, if you call it. Just put a bit of pressure on it, let it go. I could feel the nod from him. And obviously tried to walk out as much as I could, just so I was safe. Kept a bit of pressure, let a bit go, and yeah, he just come out the kelp like so. If you were to snap off in it, you'd leave him there, wouldn't you? Chilling in the kelp. So if you can try to get your rigs on the snags as best as you can, you know, I'd definitely do it.
Get him back there, mate, we got to go.
The bellies on them, full of them. So yeah.
Fat little us, aren't they?
See that little beauty? Definitely wash. Got the old tentacles there, big teeth. Straight away. Keep the light on for a second. We'll swing back in. Come on!
Right, we're out of there. We done it. We had to make a quick exit. We good. We're fine. We're looking for a kebab now. It's actually 5 to midnight now. We probably stayed a little bit longer than we should, but we're fine. What a finale. What do you reckon?
Yeah, it was a good little session towards the end then, wasn't it? It was a bit frustrating at first. Hitting into the kelp as well, that was one for me, you know, just hit hold. If you feel the nod, just try and work it through. But yeah, it was a good ending. I thought this was going to be a blank. I thought we were going to get to that K.
I turned around, he was out 30 metres into the Menai fighting a fish in the weed, like he was carp fishing and it was in the snags above it.
Brilliant. I could feel the nod coming through it, and I was like, nah, I'm going to have to get this.
I think we landed 5 us, 3 for Mike, 2 for me. I think I definitely dropped a couple. I know Mike dropped a couple. We could have had 10 us out there, to be fair. And the first 3 hours, sod all, and then it just went bang, as always. When it gets dark and the flood starts coming in on that mark, it just kicks off. It always does. So yeah, don't forget to check out Mike's channel. What's it called, Mike?
That's a bite.
You can see a picture and a link here now. Pop it up. See you all in the next one.
Always a kebab house when you need.
And we found a kebab.
Always.
Time for